So welcome to the Your Desired Success Foundation Public Mastermind, all around helping us come together and grow on that journey of self-mastery by paying it forward as well with the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have done unto you. So we're really coming from that level of support to each other. And Napoleon Hill here, the world famous author of the book Think and Grow Rich, as well as many other books, but certainly well known for his Think and Grow Rich book, said, "It is the principle through which you may borrow and use the education, the experience, the influence, and perhaps even the capital of other people in carrying out your own plans in life. It is the principle through which you can accomplish in 1 year more than you could accomplish without it in a lifetime if you depended entirely on your own efforts for success." Now, there's people I know for a fact that are on this call who can totally relate to that. So we've all got our numbers, and if you'd like to start us off, Karen?
Mastermind principles. The purpose of the mastermind is to share our value and connect with like-minded people in order to create wealth in all areas of our lives.
We are here to inspire and challenge each other to reach and exceed goals.
Each member is committed to their own success as well as success for every member of the group.
We are committed to meet in person or virtually for 1 hour every week.
We are present. There is no multitasking or distractions during the meeting.
We are collaborative. We listen without interrupting, lecturing, or judging.
We celebrate each other's successes without jealousy.
We are honest and participate by giving thoughtful feedback.
We are open and listen to different perspectives without being offensive or offering excuses.
We trust fellow members enough to fully share.
We are focused, but we also think it's important to have fun during meetings.
We are real and authentic. This is a no BS zone.
We allow ourselves to become completely aligned with each other and the high forces. One mind, one soul, one love.
Beautiful. Thank you for setting the foundation there. Could you all hear the joy in Carly's voice as she got to read that last line? Thoroughly enjoyed it. So today's topic, what has come up for me, and I'm really excited to hear this. It's going to be quite challenging and really there may be resistance. Funnily enough, we're following on with the law of non-resistance after this, but there may be resistance to this, and I really want you to take the time to think about this. And you don't have to share in any given order. Are you right now living your life as a lightweight or a heavyweight? Now that's going to mean whatever it's going to mean to you. Okay, so there's no judgment here whatsoever. But I'd really like you to think about right now at this time in your life, how are you choosing to show up? Go for it, Carly. Carly's waving away.
This is a tricky question because realistically, we're both, depending on what we're up to, where we're going, what wound we're healing or not healing, what we're not accepting, what we are accepting. So it really depends on where we are in the polarity of the emotion or issue or mental situation. So, and that changes daily. So one day we can be all aligned with the light, the next day the heavier energy, the darker energy, the grief, the sadness. But as soon as we go through it, we're back into the light, and it can change in a minute or an instant or 5 days or 3 weeks or 10 years, just depends.
So just before you mute yourself, Carly.
Yes.
Right now in this, where you're at, which one would you say you are right now where you're at?
Oh, shit.
Don't dodge the questions, Carly.
It's really too hard to answer because right now in this moment, I'm all of it. I honestly am all. I am instantly connected to heaven and I'm the light right now, this minute. And in the next minute, I could choose to turn it off just like that. One choice. Honestly, that quick. One mindset, one choice. So right now, I'm the light because that's what I choose to be.
I'd love to drop in on Callie. So you're a heavyweight, right? Because you're living your life in alignment, whether that's taking time to heal or whether that's taking time to show up for others, for me. So my view, I'm a heavyweight because I know when I need to take time and I retract myself. And when I'm in these spaces, I show up fully. Like I have nothing to hide. I'm as transparent as a human being can possibly be in these situations. And life is showing up for me. And sometimes I need a nudge. Like I was in my hole and I'm in another, let's call it a mastermind. It's a program, but it's a mastermind. When one on my mind comes together, that's what it is, right? So I've paid a lot of money to be in that mastermind, but I've already tripled the money that I've put into that. So like law of attraction, whatever you want to call it. But there's a guy in that space, Matt Bruce, who he's like, bro, I know you're in it. I need you to do a virtual handshake with me that you're going to deliver this content to me by Friday afternoon. And I'm like, in my head, no way am I going to get that done. Like I had to do the whole brief for my program for Legacy WA and I'd done no work on it. I didn't even know what I was doing. So I just dropped into my center, in my alignment with the universe. I did some breath work. I actually did it at my son's swimming pool. He was there swimming. I'd do 20 push-ups, 3 minutes of breath work, and then I'd write. And then when the block came, 20 push-ups, breath work, and write. And that got me into flow. So, but sometimes we need a nudge. And that doesn't mean that we're not being a heavyweight. It just means that we need to know when we need to be supported and we need to be held and to go into that. So for me, I judge myself often as I'm not doing enough. I get comparison when I see Martin lightweight. Yeah. Physically, I built this structure to protect myself, right? That's a whole other story. But when I look at the work Martin and Beth are doing, I'm like, fuck. Like, I'm not doing anything. But I'm doing what's in alignment with me. And that's enough. I'm creating constantly at the moment. And I can't work an 8-hour day. And that's just me. My functionality of my PTSD and everything else, if I was to sit down at a computer from 9 in the morning till 5 at night, I would not function as a human being. I wouldn't be of service to anyone. So it's being aware of what we need to function as a heavyweight. That I'm out.
Karen.
I would
Sorry,
say
Bill and
currently that I'm a super welterweight because the last year and a half's been a hell of a year. I really had to revamp everything in my life from the foundation up, financials, emotional, almost lost my house. I mean, like it's just been a hell of an 18 months. And 2020 didn't help, baby. But anyway, so bless you, Martin. So throughout it all, I've made tremendous strides in my personal development and identifying things, blocks that I didn't fully understand. And honestly, when I first started, people would say, I went deeper. And I'd be like, what the hell does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. I don't even know how to do that. What the hell? I must be dense, you know? And But I kept reading the books. I kept doing the masterminds. I'm like, at some point, I'm going to understand what all this means. And then it happened. It finally happened, and I could feel like my tectonic plates shifting. And I'm not there yet, but I feel really good about where I'm at. I feel really good about where I'm heading to, and the frame of mind that I'm doing it in. So life's good. Life's good as a welterweight. I got the belt. That's it for me.
You're so awesome, Karen. You're so awesome. Great energy as always. Anybody else like to go? Dan?
So I kind of, when you pulled that one up, I was like, oh, well, I'm not a heavyweight because I don't fit in that thing, but I'm not a lightweight either. But then to me, lightweight was I've taken away all the burdens that I'm carrying, as opposed to heavyweight. So now I'm going to flip everything on the head and just go with that, because that's what came up for me. Because it's a little bit like Carly said, it's a little bit subjective. How are you going to define what the terms are?
Well, we only know what we know, and as we know, we don't know what we don't know. But also, we're able to make an understanding judgment based on our past experiences. So I know when I'm choosing to, like what Corey said before, no way. You know, that would be then in that moment to as my judgment, saying that to myself would be, I'm behaving like a lightweight right now. I can do it. If someone else can do it and I have a desire to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to just figure out how I'm going to do it. So, you know, even when I knew it was coming, will you help clean the house? No way! Being a lightweight. But I got more value from choosing to just get on with it. And bearing in mind, like, I'm not a cleaner in regards to a professional cleaner. And Nola is a professional in the cleaning. So I had to step up and take the time. And it probably took me a lot longer than what she would do it, but it was right. And it was done. Great point though, around that. Do you want to touch on anything else, Dan?
That's about it. That's all that came up for me.
Cool. Anybody else?
I'll speak. I was just going to say, when everybody was talking about lightweight and heavyweight, and it's so amazing how everybody has just like what comes to mind first of all. And for me, I tend to, particularly the last 2 years, I tend to spend a lot of time. If I'm not a heavyweight, then I guilt myself that I should be go, do. And so I'm learning to step, like Carly said, maybe more in and out of that. So rather than being, if I'm not busy and I'm not always doing something, there's that guilt associated with, well, I should be doing something because then I'm not moving forward. But I've learnt the last few months that sometimes when I step back, or always when I step back and just be, that things flow better and I actually accomplish more, because I don't have to prove anything to anybody. It's my journey, and however long that takes, that's okay.
Powerful share. Thank you, Caroline. Albert, I see you unmuted yourself, buddy.
Well, I guess I'm a heavyweight, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to diet and exercise.
I knew someone was going to drop it.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess, like challenges that come up, I tend to just take them on. It's and try to live life on my terms, sort of. But always gotta bob and weave and go in between the punches thrown at you to get forward to where you want to be. But there's a lot of times that you come up with challenging problems that you don't really know what to do with. Like for instance, this morning I got a phone call from Subway restaurant in town here, their door closer wasn't working properly, and I just figured it was one of those hydraulic things, and I've got some spare parts and stuff, so I went down there, and it's completely different. It's all just a computerized board and electronic and whatever else. So I spent about an hour on a phone call with a tech trying to troubleshoot it, and got it working, and it was working when I left. So I felt satisfied that I actually got something accomplished. So I don't know. I guess I'd still lean to the heavyweight.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Absolutely, great sharing. Well done, and good work on going there and having to think outside the box as well, because that's then when we step into that what I would class as the heavyweight status, because we're stepping up, we're challenging ourselves. I'm not going, oh, I haven't got the parts to do this. You need somebody else. Let me figure this out. When I look at myself, when I think, because the question was around where am I at right now, or where are we at right now? There's no doubt about it in my mind. I am knocking the hell out of Mike Tyson right now. So I know he's in his 50s, but he's I'm battling in heavyweight status, not from a point of knocking somebody else out, but certainly where I am, because I can only base it on myself. And I've noticed in particular, and a lot of this has come since Bessie passed, because since Bessie passed, I've actually slowed down a lot. I haven't woken up and gone, I've got to get into doing my work. I've got to stay up working till late. I've actually started breaking away and taking time, which one of the things that was shared, I'm not sure where I heard it, but in fact, it was at the event, or was that the other day. Procrastination is not a negative. It allows you to take time to reflect. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So, because I always thought procrastination is a negative, but it gives us the opportunity to see how far we've come. And over the last several months, I've realized that I've continuously been challenging myself and putting myself in situations where I'm uncomfortable. I may come across like I'm extremely comfortable, but it's a lot of it is I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done it before, but I'm just going with what feels right to me and trusting in the process. And I totally agree with where you were coming from earlier on, Carly, and I know it's been shared by a few others in regards to, you've got to look at the law of polarity. Yeah, at any given time, you're going to be in the heavyweight and the lightweight and so on. So like for me, the lightweight would actually be classed as stepping away from this area right now and going and watching a movie to chill out and recharge my batteries. And that lightweight is what I need to help me be able to continue later on as a heavyweight. So I'm totally on board with it, but from a point of shifting it to where I am right now, like when Corey said about it, when Corey's in a few private stuff with us, and it's like, it comes across as, how the hell do these guys fit that in a day? How did they know to create that? How did they do that and stuff? But it's not from a place of we're better than anybody else. It's from a place of we know what we want to create. We don't know how the hell to create it, to be fair, but we know what we want to create. We have disagreements when I'm talking about we, Beth and I, because we're two different people. I'm 80-20 in regards to, I haven't got time to talk about it. I'm getting out building it. Whereas Beth's the opposite way around. Let's talk about it and plan. And I'm bored, instantly bored. Because I just want to start, as soon as we've got the first idea, I want to go and implement it. But she wants to get the 10 ideas together so that they all follow on. And that's part of that heavyweight journey of one, learning to appreciate where she's coming from, but also two, then stepping into that and going, there is no way, no pun intended, Corey, there is no way that I am going to let any of this slow me down or even stop me. Because my vision, my clarity, where I'm going is so clear that I can only there's only one place I'm going, and that's to get there. Even if I have to spend it all the way up there, as we all know, we all know the line of success is not straight. So right now I'm firing in a very powerful state of heavyweight, but at the same time, and this is important for me, it's not from a place of pure masculine. The feminine is in there as well, which it always used to be. The masculine was there, and I would not let the feminine come in. I've started to really appreciate and let them, whichever one needs to take over, let it take over. But still learning and growing with it, because I'm not perfect in that regard of like what was said in the chat. We're constantly learning, we're constantly evolving. I've not achieved self-mastery. If I achieved self-mastery, I wouldn't be here right now. No, it would be time for me to move on. So yeah, that was what came up for me there. Fleur as well said, yes, I agree. Overwhelm does not help get stuff done. Sometimes you need to step back, breathe, and assess. Absolutely, Fleur. Carly.
Yeah, I picked up on the yin and yang earlier when you were talking with you and Beth, with that conflict, or not really conflict, but different opinions. And then the yin and yang, because that's like practicing in the physical with your partner to come into balance around a decision in your business between you. And then the internal work of your yin and yang, like you're talking about, where you then realize that you've got to add a bit of yin in there. And Beth's a great example of the yin part of that, using, not Beth, but using her as a witness for yourself as the yang. And then vice versa, if she's willing to also use you as her mirror of the yang that she's not accepting. And then that relationship, as it accepts within you, creates a different environment mirror in the actual physical, in the business, in the personal life, because it's all one really. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that, because that's what I felt when you were talking about it, and the benefit of both a yin and yang relationship with ourselves and with any person in our life. It doesn't even have to be our partner. It could be our business partner. It could be the doctor, the nurse, like depending on where we are, it's still all yin and yang, and it's all about coming back into internal balance and connection and acceptance of both energies.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing, Carly. And I don't know if any of you remember who did the process with us, but in Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil, when the devil was talking to Napoleon and said that your relationship with your wife is one of the reasons why I can't get in those kind of words, because they were so connected and so clear and working together in like a mastermind format, that there was no room for the devil to get in and help them go off on a road of drifting. So it doesn't, we don't have to have a partner to do that. Like you said, Carly, we can find people, and that's the importance of this right here. And I've often referred to the mastermind and coming together with you all as the assault course, where you get to the platform and then there's water at the bottom and there's 4 bouncy balls that you've got to bounce over to get to the other platform. And through the week, we all experience it. There's things that happen in our week that are challenging us to grow, and sometimes we get frustrated and overwhelmed or whatever it would be, and we start to drop down. But coming on a call like this, I hit that ball and I bounce on to the next one, and that's why I love and I choose to show up. And in all fairness, this is where it comes down to, and I've realized this so much more. And I used to say this, I'm too busy. I haven't got time for that. But this is now a non-negotiable in my diary. Why? Because the value that I receive to help me keep going at that level, to be able to achieve what I want to achieve, and the things that I want to create, and the people that I want to inspire through being the true inspiration to myself and being in spirit, I need this kind of communication, and I need to be around you guys and not taking your energy, receiving it because you're choosing to give it. Now that has helped me greatly over the past several months. Before I didn't have it, and I was burning out because I was doing it all on my own, and I wasn't receiving anything because I wasn't putting myself in a position to, one, give to anybody else, but also to receive. That's been one of the most powerful things. And that, once again, when we talk about the topic, where you're stepping into, for me, this is heavyweight. Jim Rohn talks about it as in, I can't believe it's just gone from me. Jim Rohn talks about it as in like high level productivity versus low level. I can't remember the wording he used now. This is high level productivity. But you know what a lot of people out there would say, especially with the employee mindset? How much did you earn? Wow, really? Like Corey knows. Corey's shared constantly in regards to, I mean, one of the things, it's a little bit different, but Corey was going through a challenge last week or the week before and reached out to 3 people in the community who helped and sent him love and energy and support, and it just shifted him. Came on the call and it helped him. But Corey also said about he was clear on what he wanted to create. He put it out there. He wasn't asking for the money, but the people came into his life and provided him with those opportunities, which is helping him move forward and continue on the impact that he's here to make, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I didn't reach out to any individual people. I just said, hey guys, I'm taking some space for myself at the moment to heal. And I had 3 people, more than 3 people reach out to me. There was multiple people that reached out to me. I needed a particular type of energy to help me shift through that. So that's what I gravitated to. But I actually just put it out to the group, hey guys, I'm struggling a bit. And then I had people just reach to me and say, hey, you know, and I think as humans, Lisa and I spoke about this. Lisa never comes on this call because she's in London and she'd be in bed fast asleep right now. But Lisa and I spoke about this. Like, I often speak about men, but I'm trying to shift that to speaking about humans, because the experience that men and women have, I'm starting to learn is very similar. And I had this thing, I can only speak from a man's point of view. Like, I'm a man, so I need to be in the masculine, right? I can only speak from, and that's from fear of being like women going, how dare you speak about women, rah, rah, you know, like, I'm letting go of a lot of that stuff. But Lisa said to me, you know, like, when we're in the hole, I often say to people, hey, reach out if you need something. But the reality is people are not going, like, it's very rare. Like, that's the first time that I've been in a hole and I've reached out and said, hey, I'm struggling, just letting you know, can I have some prayers or energy, whatever it is, just thoughts really. And then people reached out, not just in this community, but across a number of communities where I was held. But what Lisa and I spoke about is often we will go, I'll say to people, hey, if you're stuck or you're in the hole, just reach out. But when we're in the hole, it's so dark that we're so alone that we don't want to reach. We have this fear that if you're at a point of being so low and you reach out and that person's not available to hold you, then the risk is you'll go deeper than what you already are, right? That's just a new revelation, actually. And what Lisa said is, what we need people to reach into the bubble, reach into the hole and pull us out. And even though I had people pulling me out, I still went deeper and deeper. Like, I was going deep and deep and deep. Like, I was really in the darkest space I've been in probably almost in my life. Like, I was really in a really, really dark space. And the funny thing is, when I was at my darkest, like, I was at like suicidal thoughts, and I was driving along and I'm like, I need to get out of my head. And the guy that I rang is someone that I hold space for. He didn't really have the capacity to hold space for me, but he did in the end. But he goes, I didn't know what to do with that, but all I needed was a voice that wasn't mine. I need to get out of the loop of the darkness. And all he said to me was, you've got all the tools, bro. That was it. And that's all I needed to hear, right? So when I was in it, I couldn't see my way out. But then I come out of it very quickly after that. Like, I spoke to him that night. Like, he messaged so many people, like men that support me. And I had all these guys reaching out, and I'm like, man, I'm fine. Like, I just need to really sleep. Like, I just need to sleep now. Like, that's what I need. And And then I just rung those men, and I rung him and said, look, man, I'm fine. Like, and then I had to hold space for him because he felt like he didn't do enough, you know? So I guess as leaders, I guess the thing is, right, as leaders, we need to be conscious of who we need to hold space for and who we need to reach out to when they need it. Because more often than not, most people aren't going to put the post up in a messenger chat and say, hey guys, I'm doing it rough at the moment. Because the reality is everyone in this space thought I was flying, and I was, but then I wasn't, like Kelly said before. I was flying and then I wasn't flying. And I've just been slowly. I jumped in too much last week. I did too much. And then I started slipping, so I just let it go. I need to go slowly. And Kelly checked in on me last night. She's like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm just slowly. Like, I'm just slowly. Like, I woke up early, I went to the gym and trained this morning. Like, I wasn't planning on coming to this call, but it's just my day worked out that I had space and time to be able to fit this in. So I guess as leaders, I would challenge you guys just to reach out to someone in your space and say, hey, how you going? You know, like one of my mates, his dad's in Scotland. He just got told that his dad's in palliative care on a DNR. You know, he's not going to get to Scotland to see him before he goes. So I'm on the phone. Hey man, he doesn't really want to talk, but it doesn't matter. He knows. And then yesterday I was being of service to my neighbours because they've got a massive party coming up and they don't have time. So I had 3 cubes of mulch delivered and I mulched their backyard for them. So it looks beautiful for this celebration because I love that girl like my daughter. So, and then he rocked up. He's like, what are you doing tomorrow? I go, I'm moving mulch, man. And he moved mulch and we talked side by side. We're shoveling and we're talking, you know, because that's how he wants to communicate. He doesn't want to do the face-to-face. It's about inviting people into your space. Anyway, that's a lot deeper than what I had planned to go, but it is what it is.
Brother, the plan is just guidelines. We don't need to stay on it. That's fantastic. We all received incredible value from that, mate. Thank you so much. And that's one of the, I'll speak up from my side. That's one of the things that you inspire me with, Corey, is your ability to just be so vulnerable and share and be authentic. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to be on this adventure with you, mate. The adventure of life. Has anything come up for anybody else they'd like to share? Whether it's been something been said or anything around this? We know that at the beginning, Carly was showing how great she is at the waltzing around the question that was asked. Is there anything that's come up for anybody they'd like to touch on?
It's very hard to answer a question when I know I'm all of it.
Just pick one, Carly, pick one.
It's not my mind, it's my heart. It's never been my mind. That's why I've never really been able to relate to a lot of things, because my heart wanted to run the ship and I couldn't work out how to relate to other people growing up because they weren't coming from that space in their fears and all of that in my family. And so in the end, I squashed my light to fit in, which didn't work for me either. And you just can't come from someone else's cup. It just doesn't work. You've got to come from your own heart cup or your own knowing or wisdom and really trusting what's right for you. And you can't do that from someone else's cup. They can help you as much as they can help you. Yes, they have no idea because they aren't you uniquely, and they can do their best, and all they really need to do is just listen and let people like Corey be heard. And when we're heard, that brings this internal value and allows us to individually value ourselves in a new way, a new acceptance, a new self-worth. And yes, it's an internal job, but holy crap, community helps you support the internal job. You can't do it on your own. You can do some on your own, but it takes your community or someone that comes from the heart to hold the space for you to do it, so that you're witnessed and received like we just received Corey. Thank you so much, Corey. I could cry right now because what you shared was so beautiful, so true, vulnerable and raw, but you allowed us to share that with you and receive your truth and be there for you. That's what you allowed all of us today, to just be the space for you so you can own your truth and flow through that. There's so much value for yourself in that by doing that. Even if you think you're doing it to help someone else, it's all about you. It's all about coming back to valuing you. And that's what you allowed us to witness and be there for you with, so that you could return to your full sovereignty of your own self-worth. And I would do that for you anytime, like anytime if you needed me. You just send me a message. I have done that for many people, many years. They message me, I do a healing. You don't even have to be present. I just do it energetically. I would do that for you because you're that important. So thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Callie. Yeah, I know showing up is healing for me. Selflessness, I do it for me. I do it I do it for me. You know, I do it because Martin invited me in. And that's where I work best, is when I'm invited in. So I appreciate. Yeah, I knew on the first call that you were different, Callie. You can really. I don't own this, but I have a capacity to sense energies. It was no different to like the energy I was putting out to create a relationship with Martin. I'd been doing it for probably 18 months before he reached out. It's everything happens in a time and space when it's meant to. But yeah, I'm just had a massive release actually, which has been really beautiful. Just been shifting so much. Yeah, more than most people will truly understand. But thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks. What an incredible moment for us all to share and experience there, and true love between two human beings, especially when we go back to what you said. And it wasn't just between Corey and Carly, it was all of us here on this call, but certainly from an angle of what you said earlier, Corey, in regards to you were speaking more from a male perspective, and look at how when you had opened up that abundance of like feminine energy coming into your life in regards to Carly, Lisa, and Antia in particular, choosing to step up and know that they needed to come in. And you said something, and it was really, really, really interesting, because a question that came up for me earlier was, did anyone ever feel they were different as they were growing up? And you mentioned then when you were saying about being different. And I was like, whoa, I wrote that about 5 minutes ago. and you dropped that in. Did anybody here ever feel that whether you knew what it was or not, there was just something like, hang on a minute, I feel different. I feel like I don't quite fit in with, my family or what's going on around me. There's something, I don't know what it is. Anybody? Yeah. I know exactly where it was. I used to work on a boating lake, in the town called Southport. And I'll do my best to give you the picture of this. When you were stood at the boating hut, the concrete walls went around, and the concrete jetty went that way, and it went this way, and then there was all the lake, which wasn't wide. It was probably 20 meters wide, and it was just long. And there was trees all down the side, and there was then the aviary up on the side here. But as you went along the path, there was a bridge, and you could see the cars coming past. And I remember being down the concrete jetty here, and we got all the boats ready, and there was no customers or anybody around. And I remember just sitting there, and in that moment, I was like, I feel different. I don't know, like I didn't feel different as in Martin Ball, but I just felt like I didn't know where I was, or everything else that was going on around me or in my life was kind of like not my truth. So I remember that as clear as day, and I think I was probably 13, like I was 13 years of age. And I don't know, even at that point, I didn't know what it was, but as I've grown, and I think the biggest thing for me that really shifted me was when I went through all that stuff in the mines, and I came back and I didn't understand, and I was asking the question as being the victim of, why is this happening to me, and what's going on, and why are they choosing to treat me like this, and so on. And it was only when I was listening to a pastor called Dr. Charles Stanley, who did an audio on victim or victor mindset, that I realized I am different. I'm different because I am unique in myself. I don't have to fit in with everybody else. And that was where it all started to shift. In that one audio just changed my whole perception and the direction for me. So I was what, 33. So 20 years, what I would class as, even though I'm grateful for every experience, to that point, what I would class as drifting. Because I wasn't asking the questions. I was just doing my best to fit in and go through the motions. And then bang, 20 years later, time to wake up, buddy.
We're just trying to take the mask off, right? Like I work with teenagers, and I did a meditation on them. It's crazy because I'm all about getting kids in the present. Is my whole MO on camp, and then we have to run a meditation on future, like we do a hot air balloon ride or whatever. And I'm like, it just doesn't fit with the program that I run. So I got them to go into the future to a point they would see themselves as happy in the future. And then when I come back, this group of kids are like, the theme was we need to take our mask, or we need people around us to take their mask off. When we started talking about that, who's got a mask on? My mum, my dad. What about you guys? And then I created a program or an exercise, which I've now given to Adventure Works around teenagers, like what's under the mask? What if you could show who you are, what does that look like? And having those kinds of conversations with teenagers, because that's all it is, right? We just get, and sometimes we've got so many masks on, we don't even know, how they got there at some point in time. I was 38 before I started taking the mask off. It was like forced to take them off, right?
I don't think it's always a matter of a mask. I know for me, it was just a round peg trying to fit in a square hole for so long. And honestly, I really, Martin, you think you were bad on it. I felt that way my whole life. And I don't think I really started to work on it till my 40s, till I really recognized it. Now, fortunately for me, I really don't give a damn what people think. Because I just always tell people, people worry about what somebody thinks of them in public. I'm like, I'm never going to see those people again. I really don't care what they think. And I have always just felt that way, but I also had an unsettling feeling of, am I ever going to find like place where I belong, or am I just supposed to? And I mean, I changed locations. I changed locations drastically to very different parts of the country. Hostile parts in the U.S. where I'm from, you're not really welcome. Lived there for a while. I'm like, okay, obviously it's not the location. Everywhere I go, there's problems going with me. And then I just accepted, you know what, you're different. You're not everybody's flavor, and that's just the way it rolls. And just be happy with who you are. And if you're not, what you don't like about you, fix it, and help whoever you can along the way. And that's kind of a philosophy that I've just always lived by, because you know, I refuse to be uncomfortable in my skin because I don't fit into your protocol. I really don't give a damn about your protocol. That's your issue. That's your problem. I have a story to write, and I want to write my own, and I'm writing a bestseller, baby. So, you know, that's so that's kind of the way that I dealt with it. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it works for me. And I'm 59, I'm still laughing. So, hey, I'm still struggling, I'm still laughing. So, you know, that's my 2 cents.
I love your energy, Karen. It's always amazing. And would we all agree then, based on that, that a lot of this comes with age? Like we get into a point where we start letting go. I mean, if we were to use a logical example of this, my mum, if she was on the call right now, she's also in England, so she'll be asleep. If she was on the call right now, she would say, Martin always had to have the named stuff, the named clothes, the best football boots, and that was an insecurity because, you know, I always felt like I didn't fit in, so I wanted to fit in and I wanted to be cool, you know. And then all of a sudden, it's like I mean, I just got to an age where I'm like, I don't care. Well, I don't need all that stuff anymore. But it definitely came with well, wisdom's classed as you achieve it with age. So maybe becoming wise to the fact that, hey, why do I need the approval of other people? Asking that question. And I know that what you were saying there, Karen, oh, sorry, Carolyn. What you were saying there, Karen, was I heard this from Jim Rohn, and it's always stuck in my mind. There's only about 6 negative people in the world. It's just that they move around a lot. Bloody brilliant. Carolyn.
I was just going to say, don't you think everybody feels that way? Everybody feels like they don't fit in to the box, because the box is created by media and other people, and everybody that I talked to, that I went to school with, they all felt like they didn't fit in, but they were in the in crowd. So everybody feels like they don't fit in. And there's, as you were saying, it might be the footballer or the girl who does the dancing, whatever they do, that, you know, we might think they're the popular and the in group, but they probably feel even more insecure than those people who stepped back and did their own thing. So I think we're not unique in the fact that we didn't feel like we fitted in. Perhaps we just didn't shove it down as much as other people did, or we listened to it more, even though we perhaps may not have done anything about it at the time. But I think everybody feels that way, because that's the way the world is built, which is really sad, because, you know, that's how life should be. You know, we need to go to school. I mean, that's how the whole school system is set up. We go to school, you go to university, and if you don't do well at school, well, then you don't do well at life. And it's really, really sad. And I think when we were talking about that, I thought everybody feels that way at some point, that they don't feel in. Whether you walk into a room or whether you end up at a family dinner, there are always those moments when you think, well, I actually don't belong in this moment or in this group right now.
Yeah, that's a powerful share, Carolyn. It actually brought up something for me when you were saying that, was that the football team that I used to play in when I was younger. So I'm talking real football, world football, you know, the one with the round ball where you kick with your feet, football. So, Albert?
You're talking about soccer.
So I remember my friends who I played in the team with were all, in my opinion, a lot better than me. Now I played centre half, and I realised with what you were saying then, so that's in defence in the centre. I realised what you were saying there, Carolyn, was that even though I separated myself from how good they all were, I still had a part to play, a role to play in that team, and I was picked every single week for that role. And even in reflection, I know that I was extremely appreciated for the role that I played in that, even though my judgment was I'm not as good as everybody else on the pitch in my team or in the team I played with. So really interesting how, yeah, even though I was picked every week, I still had that perception, and yet I know the lads would say he was, even one of my mates. My mate didn't know his dad, and he grew up as his granddad being his dad. He called his granddad dad, and his granddad was fairly young, and he came to all the games. And I remember him always saying, "Martin is a tower of strength. You can rely on him. He's always there. He's always in the position. He does his job, and that's it. He's not about running all the way up to the other end of the pitch to score the goal. He knows his role, and he does it well, and that's it." It's really interesting when you get to this stage where you reflect on it. At the time, I remember feeling like I could do anything from hearing that from his granddad, because I idolized his granddad. But it's only now, it's certain parts of my life where things are really shifting for me. It's not about the football game on the Saturday or Sunday morning. It's about, what am I doing in my own life? What is the impact that I'm creating through looking back at self? And even yesterday, when I decided to update my bio on Facebook, and I sat there with it for a while, and I'm looking at it and going, why am I focused on other people? Why am I trying to tell other people around helping them? Because I can only help them based on helping myself. So as I wrote it, I actually put being the best version of myself each day and building real relationships with like-minded people. And that was the first time that for me, I actually felt like, hey, I've put myself first instead of helping other people move forward on their journey or whatever it would be, which is one of the things I love to do. But I don't change anybody's lives. They change their own life. I have a role to play in helping inspire them to take that action by choosing to look after myself. So that was a really, yeah, it was Corey. It was a really powerful realization yesterday when I sat down and just took the time to write it. Tower of strength even in these masterminds. Thank you, Carly. It's not soccer, it's football. Anyway, let's wrap this up. We've got over time. It's been an absolutely, as always, it's just an incredible call and so much value, and I really do appreciate, I am extremely grateful to each and every one of you for choosing to spend your time with us all today and share your value and just hold space as well for each of the shares that have happened. As always, please share your 3 biggest takeaway in the Your Desired Success group. And I look forward to those people in the Gold Stars talking around the law of non-resistance in 15 minutes. Take care and have yourselves a great day.
Martin. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.